Welcome to another episode of the Bhandwagon podcast, and today is a guest who was on episode 16 on the 7th of July 2021. So when I first started, he was one of the guys that I wanted to get on straight away and gave me a chance. Always been a really big supporter of the podcast and always been there to give me sort of good advice. So last week, got into a random conversation, says, I need to come on, have a chat. No problem. Do anything. So without further ado, welcome to Dips Bhamrah.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm alright. Are you monetized yet? Have you got sponsors yet?
No. So
why not? We had this conversation 3-4 months ago.
Yeah, so we have had a conversation where you gave me some really good advice and that. I have took elements of that.
Yeah.
But some of the other bits I haven't managed to do. I'll be honest in that. But I know that when you do your podcast, it will be Elite A. You know what I mean? And it'll be done the correct way. And then I've got a model to follow.
It'd be too controversial.
No.
I need to know what you're going to do first. No. Listen, it's amazing what you're doing. The fact that, when was the last time we did it? It was during COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's been, 2021.
Yeah, it was during COVID. I remember doing it in my front room, and the fact that you got a setup here, got a team, cameras. Yeah, it takes a lot of hard work to do that. So
do you know something?
You're winning, man. You're winning.
I've just worked it out. It's actually the anniversary today of when I did my first episode. How bad is that? How bad is that? Yeah, I'm gonna have to put a post out now. That's the problem, is it? Any little significant milestone has to be plastered, and people have to buy views and stuff like that.
I had that conversation with my missus about buying views. I go, it's coming up to 30 years of me being in this industry in one shape, form or another. I've never done it. And if you look at my numbers on my socials, they're not as big as certain peers and other people. And I'm like, should I do it for a giggle? Should I see what happens? And she was like, Karke dekh la. But then internally, I'm like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it, man. It's going to hurt me. And the thing is, if you look at my actual social numbers compared and put that up against my career, it shouldn't make sense. Like it just shouldn't make sense. It should be like 100,000 followers. It should be 200, but I've got this much, but my career is this, and I haven't even. It's not
proportionate.
It's not. But then how does that make sense? And I'm like, do I bump it up, pay for it? Or should I just allow it? And I'm still at the allow it stay.
I was watching our episode back actually, and at the time it was very topical in terms of when we were talking about views and social media game, and I was really anti it, like 100%. So I've changed my mind.
Okay.
And
how many have you bought?
No. I'll get to this. I'll get to this bit. So what I noticed was that some of the peers that were going on were actually buying and doing their whole stuff as well. So my stuff was organic, really organic up to there. But people would recognize me or have a conversation, so I knew people were watching, or listening. Whereas that wasn't necessarily the case with the peers who had more shiny stuff, got the followers and done it there. What I have done is I've been sponsoring posts a lot more.
Yeah, that makes sense.
More tactically done.
Yeah.
But where the views and all that bit, I haven't gone down that road. But I would say there was an artist who did, I believe, no evidence, who kind of bought.
Listen, let's just put it here. I see Sale Kalde Jameni.
We're
not stupid. We know what's going on.
But even on the pod, right? So what happens is your algorithm changes, blah, 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 and you just get this whole bit. And the reason why I've changed is because I went through work, we went to the headquarters, like Metas and stuff like this. And what happens is they prioritize now if you're blue ticked.
Yeah.
They'll prioritize you if how much money you've spent with them. They'll prioritize you based on your followers and things like that, right? That's why when you put a story on, it's always limited to the same amount of people who constantly see it. Because what the market is telling you, that they want you to spend the money to get the extra reach. That's why you don't see everybody's stories or pages. Or, you know, you've sat there and you thought, I'm sure I'll follow this. I ain't seen any of this stuff. And you realise they've been posting every day for like 6 months.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it. So the game now is, the reason why I changed my mind, and I don't care, people do what you like, is because they've changed the rules of the game.
Okay.
So even though ethically you might be correct or you feel that way, I don't think you'll last long in that side, because the platform that you're using to try and be ethically correct, they've moved the goalposts.
I still don't care. I genuinely...
I spent 2 minutes explaining myself there.
I don't care. I genuinely don't care. And the reason I don't care is I'm still paying my bills, my livelihood, my kids' food and kapre, and living a life of music and media without having to have done it ever. Now, sponsored post ads, that's part of
Marketing.
That's marketing.
Yeah.
That's no difference to being back in the days, but days of the 80s or Billboard on Soho Road kind of thing. But yeah, I ain't ever buying these.
Fair, I respect that, no problem. But do you think people out there care?
I'm surprised they still do. So I know that companies automatically look at your numbers, and I just think that's just lazy. Because if you are basing everything on numbers and not actually, so for example, you could have a crap DJ with 100,000 followers, or you could have someone who is really, really good or on their way up or whatever it is with 10% of that. You're going to book the one with 100,000 views, put them on a platform, and they're going to perform, and they're going to be absolutely crap. They're going to kill the crowd. They're not going to read the crowd. They're not going to get it. They're not going to get the psychology of the audience. They're not going to, you know what I mean? Those things. But then this one over here, whose numbers you have disregarded, you haven't made the time or effort to actually hear and see what they're doing. You're not actually taking into account their abilities to give them the opportunity. You've just gone, numbers. And I just think it's laziness from event organizers. I think it's laziness from companies and corporations. I think ideally, you would need people who go, okay, those are the numbers, but what's the content? What's the quality of that content? Rather than going, 100,000, yeah, wicked, makes my life easy. I just think it's laziness.
I kind of back you up on that. I remember I spoke to a DJ, does really, really well on socials. Young, speaking to him, I said, like, you know, they did a mix or something. I was like, oh, this is from this song. And they go like, okay, who produced that? And I said, Buta Jagpal. And another version was, another song that mixed in was done by Cam Frantic. Goes, who's that?
Leno.
And I was like, these guys are on the cusp of becoming mainstream and that, but the education into the art is not there because they're driven by algorithm and exactly the same point.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just can't. I can't do it.
But do you think that's a repeated? I know you're restricted in some ways based on other stuff that you do, but do you think that's one of the problems that's happening, that kind of rinse and repeat, where you see organizations see the formula, they've got the criteria right in front of them, they need to make it a success, their jobs are online if it's not a success, they take the gamble and it's just burnout, like that one's failed, right, get the next one in, burnout again, get out, and without necessarily kind of nurturing and building up the talent.
So if you're an event organizer and you've got a list of 10 DJs, the easiest thing to do, the laziest thing to do, is to go, who's got the biggest following? Let's get them. Wicked, give them the gig, job done. If you actually spend half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, an hour of your day, actually listening to the content of those 10 DJs, the 7th most expensive one may actually be the one that content-wise, ability-wise, is the perfect fit for whatever your event is or whatever you're trying to do. But you're just too lazy to do that research. I'll take myself, for example. My show is the biggest Punjabi music show in the world. And the reason it is, and I back it up with my radars, my listen agains, I'm into 6 figures listeners on a weekly. That's ridiculous, but I'm proud of it. And the reason I'm proud of it is just before I came, I was a little bit early, sat in the Starbucks, opened up my laptop, hotspot, right, okay. I got to plan my show. So Wednesday today, my listening session for my show, which is a 2-hour show, the first hour is all new music. For that 1-hour show, I could quite easily go to the Asian Network playlist, see what's trending, boom. Yeah, I can go to the big tunes right now, all over the last 5 years, throw them in, program ho gaya. And I've been told to do that by other producers back in the day. I'm an idiot maybe, or driven or passionate. This is when I'm talking about that effort, those 10 DJs and you go for the 7, this is what I do. I find and source from YouTube, from Spotify, from Apple Music, from my own inbox. I go to websites, I go to meme sites. I do that first thing on a Thursday morning to see what tunes are out over the last 7 days. I, on an average, will listen to about 80 to 120 brand new Punjabi songs that have been released worldwide. And I do it religiously every Thursday morning because it's the right thing to do. I will listen to every single one of those songs to get what's happening. Okay, what's the vibe here? What's the song? What's the content? What's the vibe? Okay, cool. Then I'm going, okay, well then, if I take these and put those over there, disregard those, okay, then individual, I need to pick the next 16 that are gonna go in the show. I don't need to do that. But the reason it's working, the reason why my social numbers don't match with my listening figures, the reason why I'm at year 22 of being a presenter, 30 years almost in an industry next year, is because I put that time and effort in. If you look at my first hour of the show, there's artists in there you ain't heard of, but I got the guts to play them because they deserve to be heard. If they've done the effort of putting something out there that's half decent, and again, I might miss something, and I always say, if I've missed something that's on your playlist, hit me up, let me know. I'm not going to get everything, it's impossible, but I will get 90%, and I will do it every Thursday because it's the right thing to do. And and I'm so passionate about that out of that, everyone gets an opportunity. I ain't playing the biggest names. I need to give everyone the same platform. But those are the levels I feel you have to go to make a difference. At the end of the day, we're all here to make a difference. You're doing this to make a difference. I'm putting my show together to make a difference. If you're a DJ, you're out there to change someone's mood or create a moment that they'll never forget. We're all here to make a difference in some way, shape or form. But what level are you willing to go to? You can buy the views, get your gigs wicked. Trust me, up or gadani. You're never going to be content. If tomorrow my career stops, I can sit there on the bench on Soho Road and go, follow that. And I'm proud of it. But there's still more to do. There's a hell of a lot more to do. We carry on, we keep moving on.
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes, you know, your ears...
That was a rant, wasn't it?
No, it's good. But you have to, because sometimes it's cathartic, but sometimes you've got to kind of express it to know where you're actually at.
And the thing is, I tell you what, the reason I'm passionate and why I've expressed it like that, I want another 10 of me. I need another 5 of you. How much heavy lifting are you going to do by yourself?
It is tough. It is tricky. But what I just want to get to the point before I forget it is, I know when you hear some music that is absolute a bag of shit.
Yep.
But you still play it, and I was like, it's exactly what I said. You got the guts to play it on national, so they could never complain that you never gave them a go.
But that then comes into. I have a real deep philosophy on how I playlist. It's a stupidly deep philosophy that only a handful of people know. So that, you're right, I will play something that's a bit dodge. But that dodge is a subjective one to that personal taste. For me, if you've produced something and it's in time, it's in key, and the fundamentals are there, everything else is subjective.
Good point.
Do you think I enjoy every single song that I play? Nope. Because they're not in my personal playlist. Professional, personal, two separate things. I am putting out things professionally for you, for next man, for next good woman to add to their personal list. As a professional, my job and my responsibility that I have assumed myself is to make sure you have every opportunity to hear as much as possible from Canada, America. 2 weeks ago, I played a Punjabi song from Thailand. There's a movement there. I reached out to them, saw your post, guys, send it over. Who does that? I do that because I need you to hear it for you to determine whether it makes it onto your playlist. So yeah, I might play something that doesn't sound quite right, but again, it might do for another 50
But do you
people.
try and be like, for example, do you take give the feedback constructively in terms of saying, look, I'm played this is what the feedback's been coming like, and that, or do you just say like, that's it? Would that be too much?
No, with me again, I'm just different, man. I'm wired different. Rightly or wrongly, I don't know. We'll find out at the end. I was at Jundu's funeral, Jundu Litrala's funeral yesterday, and we found out at the end what impact he made. Bro, there were like 250, 300 people there, man. They came from around the world. The guys from Gravesend, like the 4x4 dancers and all these guys, they left at 5 in the morning to come and see Jundu's funeral. That's respect, man. So,
but you only find out at the end. Yeah, and Jundu Litrala, he was a playlist for people's lives. Yeah. From start, definitely mine. Yeah. You know, and it was only when people put in their kind of their tribute on, and they put in all the songs, and you're like, imagine who's the mainstream equivalent. If you go from Motown, Quincy.
No, if you go Motown, Smokey Robinson.
Yeah.
If you're going for 90s hip hop, you're looking at Jay-Z. He's that. That's who he is.
Yeah. And he's just like so well respected, so well loved, and you just realise when people pass you, like.
So again, with me, the way I do things is different. It's unique. It's only me that's doing it. Now, it doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but I could back it up with my track record.
Yeah, one thing I want to kind of.
I think anyway.
I just want to dwell on this a little bit, because the second part to when you put some music on, I'm like, it's a bit ropey for me, right? Yeah. And it's good because what you said, because you're right, but it's ropey for me.
Yeah.
Was that the amount of innovation that you come up with on a weekly basis, say, right, I'm going to do SOS RDB versus blah, blah, blah. And you've come, and that consistency, not for like 3 months, right? Even when I've been doing this, it's like, it's 1 week, and then I'm like, we got to film one. Okay, I'll release it in 10 days. When I first started, it was every week. Now, because of time pressures and the quality, in terms of when you're putting a product out, it takes that long. But you've not just been doing that. You've been doing it for like 22 years, right?
Yeah.
Right? And you're putting it week in, week out, a new innovation from there. That goes beyond in terms of that's in the deepest realms of passion to keep it going. Because you must be listening to the same genre of songs. We were at a party on the weekend. I think 90% of the playlist, the songs were over 10 years old.
Yeah, I can believe that.
And the newer songs that were coming in just wasn't making it
unless it was a DJ Nick Dillon remix, because it's Bhangra.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is like, how hard is that becoming for you to keep that innovation going?
It's gonna sound so arrogant.
It's all right, don't worry.
But I'd like to think people know where I'm coming from. Yeah, it's not hard. It's not hard at all, because I'm confident in my abilities to deliver unique, engaging content, whether it's on the radio, whether it's on socials, whether it's through music, every single week. Like, what did we do last week? We did a Punjabi mixtape, 30 minutes. I play the first track. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll just do my set and do ho gaya. Week before, my team goes, can you do a boy band mix? They do it on purpose. My team, they don't needle me. Can you do a boy band mix? Go on then, let's do it. So I had
DIP.
Yeah, DIP, B21, CIC, 4x4. We had Take That in there, had 5 in there. Like, give me any I love them all, but any other DJ that could do what I did on that 30-minute mix, I'll do. The week before, I've done mixes which were Punjabi rock themed, but I can only do that knowing that Sardara Gill had a rock track which Amarjit Sidhu produced and jammed to the original on the side B. Like, I can't help that.
But are you then?
But then, how do I make that creative to someone who doesn't like rock music but likes Punjabi music? How do I make that palatable to someone who isn't into rock but is into punk? Like, there's so many factors going into how I put these mixes together.
Do you think this is an unfair question?
No, go.
Do you feel that you could be too intimidating for the next gen, for a next Dips Bhamrah to come on the radio? Because you're so, like, I'll give you an equivalent, like John Peel, for example.
Yeah.
He was known to pick out the most unique songs all around the world. Yeah. But there was never another one behind him.
I'd say Zane Lowe.
Yeah, fair enough.
So Zane Lowe comes in, and he's got the same philosophy,
yes,
but he's delivering it in a different way.
Bobby Friction is similar as well.
Yeah, similar. But if you're speaking mainstream, you're right. After John Peel, I would say Zane Lowe. But now, who's after him? I can't see anyone. I'm ready to hand the keys over. Damn, I've said it now. Honestly, because I'm so passionate about. I'm passionate about the industry, the culture so much.
Look, I know it because we're both kind of wrestling fans, and I'm decent knowledge. I watch like Scott Steiner's interviews and stuff, but I know you're hardcore into it, right?
Yeah.
There is that philosophy within there to put someone over for the next gen, for them to come through and having the reins passed on. So I kind of understand what you're saying from there, but I still think that people are not ready.
And when they are, I'm ready to help them. I'm ready to open the door. I'm ready to give them the seat. I'm ready to tell them where this is.
Has anyone come close?
No.
Big.
Do you know what? There's elements of people who have, but not. And no one can be me. I can only be me. And I don't expect whoever does come in, look, it could be at the end of this year. And I've been saying it every year. I don't know. But when it happens, I'm going to be gutted. Yeah, my God, I got it. But in the cold light of day, it's a hell of a run, man. I can't knock it. And it's been great. And I will help. I reach out. When I see a new presenter that's come on Asian Network, it's just, I don't have to. I'll reach out to them and say, listen, really good, man, well done. You know what, I've been listening to you for a while, well done. Do you know what, maybe try this, maybe try that. Whether they listen to me or not, I don't know. And the reason I do that is because when I started as a presenter, none of them helped me. None of them reached out to me. So I'm this new kid trying to learn how to do it, or how can I be better? And I did ask, and presenter X and presenter Y didn't have time of day for me.
Did the old
and I still have respect for them.
Yeah, did they let the next generation down?
No, because there have been some really good presenters and broadcasters who have come through. They are there now. But for me, I was like, I really want some help, please. I need someone to help out. I didn't get it. I've had to do it myself and build my own way. Had great support from producers. I'll always say Sandy Roy, my producer, a long time. She was amazing help. So I've had some really good people behind me. And again, Asian Network's been amazing to me. It really has. But I am ready. And the reason I'm ready is if and when my time is up, that's cool. You don't think I'm going to sit at home. There's a hell of a lot more to do and to explore. But until that time, I'm still to steal a quote from Chris Jericho, I'm the best in the world at what I do. And until it's time to go, I'm going to continue being the best in the world at what I do.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about it in terms of, obviously I'm not the demographic in terms of what the agent network want. So I naturally align with your show the most. But how often do I sit in the car to listen to it? I'm mainly catch you listen back.
So that's the other thing. It's about evolving. You have to evolve. If you don't evolve, you get left behind. I say this to my production team all the time. When they'll ask questions about this, that and the other, or this present or whatever, I go, if you don't evolve, you're gonna get left behind. Now, evolution is either something you voluntarily do or it's forced upon you. For example, I used to do long form interviews. I used to do like 4 or 5 minute links where I'd be narrating this story and capturing people and like building pictures in their heads and whatever, and have it used to be like that. Now, what was forced upon me was, your links are too long. You need to shut them down. Okay, cool. What are we looking at? 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. A minute and a half is exceptional circumstances. And for a storyteller, I'm like, you're killing me off here, man. You're like, literally, I've got the Superman costume on, but without my gotcha. Like, what do you want me?
What edit that bit?
Yeah. But what do you want me to do? How can I tell a story in 20 seconds? But then you've got to change your mindset.
But do you think? Okay.
No. Whatever the philosophy is, yeah. It's like a football team. New manager comes in, new philosophy. Ultimately, you've got to get those 3 points. And if that's the philosophy, how are you going to make that work? Now, bro, I'm doing. Boom, boom. I'm telling stories in 20 seconds. I'm bigging up the artist I've just played, giving information, telling you what's coming up in the next 15 seconds, and telling you why this is important in 30 seconds. Damn proud of it. Damn proud of it, because I've gone from needing 4 minutes to talk to now, yeah, bang, I'll do it in 30 seconds. And that's only because I'm willing to evolve. Whatever the situation is, how can I adapt to it? How can I maximize those seconds? How can I maximize those minutes? Rather than bitching and moaning and crying and I ain't got time for that.
So when you do your podcast, will you go back to the 4 or 5 minutes? Because that's what we need. No, because we're talking about how we're saying they need another 5 of me or 10 of you and stuff like that, right? Which I agree, 100%. And when I've had other podcasters on promoting their stuff and that, you know, having that philosophy. But because of the education, because you're getting forced not to do that, that there might be something in the 4 minutes that's a spark for the next person to go on. And I think it's lost because we're trying to preserve a sound, we're trying to preserve a culture. I don't think it can give it justice in those moments. Even though you're more capable, you are capable and you are doing it. I think some bits do need that extra bits, because those are the key snippets that when you see TikTok about a story that are going viral, they are the key bits that, if you can't do it with your discography of how much you know, I know how many times we've had a conversation, what you know off camera. Yeah. That goes with you.
But then why should it be me?
Unfortunately, you're the one who's got the knowledge.
So if I grew up listening to a variety of radio hosts and taking little bits from them and learning from them to put together into me and then develop that over 2 decades.
No.
Where I genuinely, in this world, I can't be the only one. No, there's got to be other people with that same drive and that same passion.
But the talent will take you so far, isn't it? You know, right? The hard work is the other bit in terms of where you got through. But you come from a very different background in terms of your uniqueness in Bhangra royal family with your dad and Opera Sigit and you've known and you've played in different bands, you know, even with True School, and you've been everywhere around. And so you know artists professionally for your job. Yeah. You know them outside of that in terms of being in a band. You know it from a production point of view. It's such a unique situation that I think those 4 seconds, 3 points, whatever, I don't think it does it justice.
Maybe.
I genuinely, because when you started to do some of those podcast series online during COVID at that time, I learnt more from listening to that than I would from any of your shows put in.
And I appreciate that, but then why hasn't anyone called me to say, can you help me? Can you train me?
Yeah,
can I work with you?
Yeah. I can't, I'm not saying...
No.
Yeah, I can't answer that. I can't answer that. I'm just saying, yeah.
What am I going to say? No. Of course I'm going to say yeah. But if you think that... if you think I'm going to reach out to random people, I can't do that. Actually, no, that's a lie. I've told people, you should do a podcast. You should do a podcast. Oh, what am I going to talk about? The shit that you talk about anyway. Put it down. Let's do it. Do you want me to? Do you know what? I'll help you. But
I'm not saying this is your production team or anything like that. But do you think the inexperience of the production team that run in the Asian network, for example, it's not their fault because they don't know the unique positioning that I've just said from there, that it can stifle that innovation from that side. Even though they're coming up with new ideas and challenging you, that's fine. No issue with that. But you've got such a unique perspective. I don't feel that gets maximized enough. And I'm saying that as a fan and as a person listening to it of why it doesn't make sense. But I agree, I'm not the demographic.
And I appreciate that. But then it's not my Buddha's BBC.
Agreed. But it's our BBC.
It is your BBC, but there's protocols that we need to follow. There's remits that we need to follow.
I'll be honest. I feel you're getting suffocated.
No.
I'm not saying.
Again, that's absolutely fine. I'm not
saying that there's an equivalent that will pay you whatever it is.
No, there isn't. There isn't. And that's fine. So when my time's up, I will build the equivalent.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I'll build the equivalent space, but I'm ready to help develop that space now. Because if I can develop the next 5 radio hosts or broadcasters or TV people, that's a benefit to all of us. Because I want to be entertained. You know what I mean? I want to be entertained as well. Like, I'm a banda. I need someone to make me laugh. I need someone to tell me something. I might be in a unique situation, but I don't know personally the new generation of artists.
But this is my point now.
I don't know them, but I still give them time of day, whether they know it or not.
Do you think that there will be I don't know the right answer to this because it's perspective on the guest.
Yeah.
But Malkeet on the last podcast came out and said the music scene's dead. That was his perspective.
I'm sure his bank balance says otherwise.
Oh, no, I know. I've seen it. I said to him, I've seen his extension.
Considering how he was dressed, I've turned up.
I've seen his extension of the house, so I know he's doing very, very well, and whatever. So it's subjective, isn't it, from an artist and stuff from there. But do you feel that there'll be, by the time we come up with our ideas and we come up with that there is still be a big enough market to satisfy it?
Yeah. I'll tell you why. Let's go deep. If in the 60s and 70s you had musicians who were either doing stuff in gurdwaras or community halls and pubs and social clubs and whatever, and then all of a sudden in the 80s you've got synthesizers and drum machines and all this kind of stuff, don't you think those guys were going, Argy, what's this, what's going on here? No. That golden generation evolved that sound. Okay. Then you take it into the 90s. Those 80s guys are going, what's with this hip hop and R&B and sampling? What's this? We have to push the sound. We always keep pushing. There's always going to be a scene. That scene will change. It will evolve. I think the scene that we love is probably the equivalent of what Motown was. Out of Motown came 90s hip hop. We're at that point now. We maybe have to lock off the golden era and say, these guys did that. This is what's happening now.
But now they say rap's dead.
Yeah, and something else will come up. Same will happen here. Everything has to evolve. It has to. Otherwise, it's the same old crap and it gets boring. It has to evolve. Now, it ain't going to be to your liking. Ain't going to be to my liking. But then there's a 13-year-old kid or a 14-year-old Simran in Leeds who's going, yeah, I love that. And we can't take away that from her or him. Not everything is meant to... The only reason the sounds of the UK Asian scene, which was Bhangra, made such an impact because that was the only form of music for brown people. Because at those gigs, if you were allowed out, or if you could sneak out in the 80s, the original rebels, yeah, who are now 60s and 70 years old, there was Hindus, Sikhs, Muslims, Christians. Anyone brown in the UK at the time only had two forms of music. One was Hindi film music that came over on cassettes and vinyls, and Bhangra music. The reason it resonated so much then, and it still does now, is because that's all they had, and all their knowledge, memories, experiences are based around that form of music. That is it. But as we've gone on, it's splintered out. Everyone's got their own little scene going on. That's fine. That's just the evolution of life. The scene will always continue, but it's always going to take different forms.
I'm convinced. You've persuaded me on that. I didn't think about it that way, but you're 100% spot on.
Yeah. And the thing is, in 10 years' time, I don't want to be listening to that music that's coming out now because it's not meant for me. I will be listening to my music that makes me happy. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to compare what happened in 1998 to what's going to happen in 2038. And anyone who's on social media who still do it today, it's not like what it used to be. No.
Yeah, we've had this debate.
But it's not meant to be, bro. It's not. Like, live with your memories, and that's cool. And if something new pops along, wicked. Yeah,
because I'll put that Vince McMahon meme up with it when he's like, that's what sparked this conversation which we had, which I am now. You've articulated it probably the best. I was just thinking in a microcosm, like even in my car, I struggle to put Bhangra on. Just like with the young kids, my kids, they're like, if it's jazzy beat, that's fine.
Yeah.
Anything else from the people, I had Drippy on in the car picking up my daughter from school. What's this? Turn it off.
Yeah.
It was just, and I'm like, you're supposed to be liking this. If you don't like this, who's going to like it?
Don't you think we did that to our parents? Of course we did.
Yeah, but they
were listening. They wanted to listen to Silsila and Kabhi and Manik and Shinda, and we were going, nah, man, put on DCS. Nah, put on Aplasmi. Nah, put on Pradesi.
Yeah, but at least it was still Bhangra.
Yeah, but it wasn't what they wanted.
But some breeder carpenter or whatever.
But it wasn't what your parents wanted.
No, it's true. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, and the thing is, they had to put up with us. We're having to put up with them, and believe me, when I'm old and their kids are telling them what to do, I'm going to be the first one to be laughing while sitting with my AirPods on, listening to my music.
So, like, again, going back to our first sort of conversation, you were talking about how your journey in production and in music and as a live musician was key. And I feel it's culminated to this project around Beat Bank, because what you're doing is you're essentially providing beats, open source, open format.
Yep.
Any artist who wants to jump on a beat, speak with, produce it, get it all sorted and that. Has that become? Is that there because you've reached the point? And this is what I'm saying about the suffocation bit. Maybe I didn't use the right word, but is it because
this
is the point where you're able to exercise the freedom to do what you want now? That it's not a hoarding one. This is kind of a jump start for people who, if they need it to do it, or show, I don't know.
It's a mind shift change. So 12 years ago, I was working full time at the BBC, whilst presenting, whilst being in a band, whilst DJing. I was 7 days a week. And I had to make a decision. So when Asian Network, if you remember back then, was threatened with closure, and they go, we're going to save it, but we're going to have to reduce the budget. Okay, cool. So at that time, there were probably 7 or 8 shows on the Asian Network which were loosely attached or directly attached to Bhangra music or Punjabi music. That had to be brought down to 1. So we didn't have 2 weekend Punjabi shows. There weren't 2 weekday Punjabi shows. There wasn't Bhangra Breakdown. There was Bhangra Mixtape at the time. All these shows had to be come down to one. And I, at that point, had to make a choice. If I'm going to be the presenter of that one show, I need to show how serious I am about this. I need to make a decision. Am I the guy in the office who does presenting on the side? Or am I a serious presenter like Adil Ray, like Bobby Friction, like Sonia Dior? Am I that, or am I just... Because that affects how management are going to make decisions. You can't be the 9 to 5 guy and then be taken seriously. So having first child, 6 months old, I decided to resign from my job, handed in a resignation, and I left. And you can imagine I went from this much money a month to this much money, not knowing at that time if I was gonna get that show. Because Bhangra Breakdown finished and I was off for 4 months. I think it was about 4 months. Radio silence, no idea what's going on, no idea what's happening. And then I got the call to say, look, will you do it? It's going to be a hybrid Punjabi show, English Punjabi, you cool to do it? Yes, yeah, let's do it. And I think I proved myself that, yeah, I'm willing to take a risk and do this full time. But it was bloody hard, man. It was hard. At the same time, me and Dad built the studio, the Hyperlab, where I am now, thinking, stupidly, that build the studio, do that, and then I'll make music, loads of people are going to come and want to work. Yeah, it didn't happen. 5 years, 6 years, nothing. Yeah, you do bits and pieces, but not to the level that I thought it might be. I made a massive mistake, bro. I was broke. I had a kid, I had no money. There was points where I had to decide, this is God honest truth, I had to make a decision. Do I put petrol in the car, or do I buy a toy for my kid? And even that toy was, I went to Argos and it was just there, you know, the ones that you get in the baskets. That's how bad it got. I didn't buy clothes for 2 years because I couldn't, but then I still had to maintain this persona of, yeah, BBC guy, woohoo, kind of thing. And people might be listening to this, yeah, but your dad? Yeah, and what? Everyone's parents are there to help them and support them. But I need to do this off my own back. I need to stand on my, I got a kid, I got a wife, I got bills to pay. I need to do this. It's Anik or whatever it is, I don't know what it is. But I did things badly wrong. Like in terms of business plan, completely wrong. But during that time, I was still making music, still doing it. I've got so much music that's banked up. And then the traditional convention is, yeah, big song will come out, or an artist will come down, then I can say, look at this, kind of thing. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen either. Because everyone's on this rat race, what you got, like kind of, you know what I mean? If you know people. So I thought, okay, you're either gonna leave it there where it is, or you need to find a way of getting people to hear what you're about. That's on me. If people go, you're a good producer, but you're not doing enough, that's my fault. Yes, 3-4 years ago, I probably would have been complaining about the industry, this ain't fair, but actually the truth is my fault because I've not put out enough. Okay, so let's try something different. They're just sitting there. They're pre-production, they're just sitting there. I know they're good or half decent, either or. Let me just put them out. That's it. What's going to happen? I still own it. It's still mine. If you want to use it as part of your podcast, use it. It's free. But then you'll realize, actually, he makes these beats, you know. I wonder what else we can do. Even if you don't come to me, that's fine, use it, I don't care. Because if it got to the point where next man says, I like that beat, let's do a song to it, I'll be like, great, but I can make another 5 versions of that. That's how confident I am now. And I probably wasn't last year to say that. I am confident. If I've released Beat Bank Volume 1, there's 3 tracks on there, I can make another 5 versions of that to suit your needs, to suit your song, to music pieces, we could change the chord structure, whatever you want to do, let's do it. Let's do it, come on. I'm ready. And the scary thing is, I've only just put out 2. I've got another 4 packed and ready to go. They're coming out every month. Otherwise, they're just sitting there.
I just want to go back to one bit that you said.
It's either smart or stupid. I don't know which one it is. We'll find out. We'll find out. I don't know.
No, because I've known a few artists where they've put out a beat and they're waiting for someone to get the bait to produce it and to do it.
And I think again, I'll give credit to my production team. It was Sammy on my production team who says, you know, Steel Bangles has done something like that. I was like, has he? I was like, okay, cool. And he goes, even G-Funk, he's done that as well. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. And again, they might be new to the production game, but look how much knowledge he's got that he's passed on to me, that's made me think, that's made me develop something that wasn't a thing. So going back to the earlier thing, yeah, like I've learned from someone who's my junior, but he's my equal, he's my producer, but it's his idea that's made me go, right, I need to reframe everything. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, even when Dropped in the Hood, for example, there was the skeletal version of that was put out, and Jazzy went on it. I just want to go back to when the struggle that you had, and for some reason it's always stuck in my mind what Kuljit Bhamrah said when I did a podcast with him, and he was talking about that when somebody was coming in and there was a bad energy in there, he would send them home.
Yeah.
Because he believed that when that was being recorded, if there was bad energy or there's stress in there, that it gets captured on that bit.
He's right.
But you were going through your struggles under the pressure of creating this kind of music. Do you feel some of those beats kind of encapsulated that energy?
Good question. Thinking about it, maybe. I'd say the early stuff, so I'm talking like 2012, 13, 14, 15, the stuff I was putting out were okay. But actually that's more of a reflection of me as a person back then. Somebody who was still unsure, who still wasn't sure if this is a thing, couldn't mix properly, you know what I mean? Like all these things. But again, I've had to reframe that. And now, yeah, it's different. I don't think those struggles, because we struggle every day. Yeah, every day. So today I woke up, I messaged my missus, listen, I'm in a bad headspace. That's what I mean. I'm just letting you know.
I wish that works.
I'm just letting you know, yeah. But I'm still here doing this. You know what I mean? We've got to battle through it. And yeah, I just don't think the music was of high enough quality. It was more...
because you got a pressure to... Yeah. It's a hard question to answer to when I was thinking about it, but like, you've got that pressure saying, we've got money from this much to this much. We have to succeed. This music has to succeed. And sometimes you can overproduce a song, can't you? Sometimes you can do too much of that. That maybe from that kind of stuff.
Yeah, overthinking it. Like, I'll tell you what, 10 years ago, I actually released a track with Gurlej Akhtar and Surinder Shinda. Nobody knows about it. I did a whole album.
I heard that.
Yeah,
was it a bully? Yeah.
I made a whole album for Bulweed Boparai. And it just didn't work. It is what it is. It happens. Successes, failures happen. The biggest switch in my musical thing, which is why this beat bank now exists and why I developed into what I believe is a solid mix master, engineer, beat maker, producer now, is in all fairness to True School. Because he just pulled me up once and he goes, you know what? He goes, you make Premier League music. And this is music that other people just didn't care about. Obviously he's heard it and he goes, you make Premier League music, but using Division 2 singers. It's like, okay. Well, I don't know, it is what it is. I'm like, yeah, it's just life, and it is. He goes, no. He goes, do you know what you need to do? Just make beats. Just make beats. And I go, what do you mean just make beats? He goes, just make beats. Don't think of songs. Don't think of anything. Just sit there, make music. And just keep making music. Which then meant I was like, well, actually, I can now make music from keys and chords and scales that I like. I can't do that because I'm maybe working with people who, okay. Then I start doing that and I was like, actually, I'm all right, you know, I can do this. And I just kept building and building and building and building. Songs are there, but then finding the right singers, the right lyrics, that's the disconnect at the moment. But how long can I keep that as an excuse? No, I'll do my bit. Here's the music. Let's see what we can make of it.
Ironically, you were hosting it, but the word is born, sort of, you know, the anniversary, what they did there. And then they were playing different versions of the song with a different beat. And I was like going, if that beat and that version was released now, it would do the same amount of damage. It's like, and that's probably where he's coming from in terms of the bank.
Honestly, bro, everything is learning. Even that, because there's me as the host saying, you should put that out. And he's going, will people ever listen to instrumentals? I go, yeah, I would. So I'm thinking, hang on, if I would, maybe this Bhandwagon would want to hear mine. Okay, that's another reason maybe why to put it out. So listen, things happen for a reason. Maybe my time wasn't then, but that doesn't take away from what I'm doing or what I've done. Maybe my time's now. Maybe it isn't now. Maybe it is in another 10 years time. I don't know. But like I'm in terms of my passion for music, it is no different to when I used to set up a fake band when I was aged 5, when my dad would jump in the van and go somewhere on a Saturday, and I'd pretend to be part of Apna Sangeet with pots and pans on a table and my one Casio keyboard and shakers and whatever, and I put a VHS on and copy the whole Apna Sangeet set from 1980. Like, that kid is me now. There's no difference other than responsibilities in life. And that ain't ever gonna stop. I can't.
How has your creative process then evolved from being that kid to where it is now? And we're on the cusp of, the gate's already open with AI as well.
Yeah. Confidence is a massive thing. Like, when you're a kid, you don't care. Like, whatever. I actually sang my very first song I ever sang live on stage was with Apna Sangeet at my Daya son's wedding in Leicester. I didn't care, I was ready for it. Let's do it, man. It's an original song, it's never come out, but I sang an original song, original production that my dad did, and it was brilliant. But then for me anyway, as a teenager, going into secondary school and going into college, like, I was busy with Apna Sangeet. And I wasn't like doing the typical college stuff because I didn't want to do that, but then that made me less cool and all this, like, and you're constantly, I see my sons doing it now, that other people's opinions matter when you're growing up. And I didn't think I was good enough, I didn't think I was right, you know, I'd see other keyboard players, they're better than me, and this and the other. And you've got to have the right people around you who are going to pull you up, give you an ear bashing, give you an arse kicking, and say, listen, sort yourself out. And I had one or two of those who did that. But then it's still back onto you. What are you going to do? How are you going to make yourself better? I can get all this knowledge and experience from people, but made it there, man. Buck stops with me. And I can either bitch and moan, or I can work hard and do the best I can to the best of my ability. Take the beat bank, for example. The concept's mine. Production's mine, playing the instruments me, making the beats, everything's mine. The artwork is mine, the design is mine, the fonts, everything is mine. The write-up is me, the videos, the reels, the animations, the captions, it's all me. I'm doing it myself. I don't have a team, I don't have Jamche, never have, never will. It burns me out badly. But that's me, it's all me. I can't do it any other way. Rightly or wrongly, I don't know. Maybe I'd have more of an impact if I had Char Panch Bande with me. Maybe, but no, I can't help it. It's just the way I'm wired, and I'm going to continue doing that.
Obviously, we know, we covered it in the previous interview, but even in this one, throughout it, the influence of your dad being involved in your career. But park your dad to one side. When you've gone through your interviews and you've interviewed the best of the best, ever, from your catalogue, that what you've done, was there something that an artist had said to you that it still resonates with you now, which has helped with your work, what you're doing?
No, because those kind of influences are when you open yourself up for other people to come back at you with something, whether it's just in conversation or general advice. My philosophy on radio, and when I used to do stuff with Brit-Asian, was I'm just the guy who's trying to extract as much out of this person as possible for the audience to latch on to. My job is to make them the best possible. So I'm actually listening to what they're doing and what they're saying and trying to latch onto stuff that they may have said just all day, but okay, but you said this, why? To make them. So I don't think I've learned anything from interviews, but there are people who've really, really influenced me, whether it's in a Jags Climax style where he's just got, get up, get on with it, move on, we got things to do, bro. Like, he's on my case all the time. Like, what we doing next? What we doing next? That's great, but what we doing next? And you need that, or whether it was a True School, or even if it was a Jinder Jade who's constantly, saying dumb things and stupid things, but then we refine it and something else comes out of it, and it's like, bro, we actually done something decent here. Or whether it is one of my producers, there's good people around who have your best intentions. And you know yourself, you start in college and uni with about 20 people, and it comes down to this. And I love that. Because if you're our age and you're still surrounded by 20 people, there's something wrong. There's genuinely something wrong. If you need that many people around you to succeed, there's a problem.
You do see, your opinion really on kind of the state of Bhangra now and artists and stuff. Yeah. We've never seen as much money in the industry as it is now. The highs of the highs, super stadiums, what the Jeet Ojala and what they do, AP are doing. Numbers, producers, Manny Sandhu, in terms of what's out there, it's phenomenal. The Brown Pound, for example, is at its peak. But you do see that the spurts going up really super sharp, and the drops are a lot quicker, I feel, for those same artists, that they peak there and it comes out, and they very rarely get back up to where it is. Where I think previously people had more of those kind of the troughs and they could bring it back.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something short term that can be rectified, or do you think that's the state of play now? Because if you'll have one shot, get it up there, make as much money, and then just forget about it.
I think when it comes to this, let's take the Bhangra music scene, 'cause it's weird. It's now literally has gone from this is Motown and this is 90s hip hop. The Motown is Bhangra music and hip hop is Punjabi music. It's literally that. So even on my show now, it's the best in Punjabi and Bhangra music. Well, what's the difference?
Yeah, I'd be one of those people saying, what's the difference?
So the difference is Bhangra music is a hybrid sound made in the UK, which brought together Punjabi folk from the immigrants who came over and aligned it with the sounds of the mainstream at the time and put them together. I'm talking people like Deepak Kajanchi, Rag from Pradesi, Badi Sagu, Bhutta Jagpal, Punjabi MC. These guys made this sound. They're the originators. What Punjabi music is now is literally a beat, a vocal, next. Beat, vocal, next. That's it. So for me, there's no identity to it other than the language. So the language is what's carrying that genre. And the art form of making Bhangra music is slowly diminishing because it's hard to make. It's easy to make Punjabi music because you can make it in 5 hours, 6 hours. That is, I've got my laptop, I can make you a beat right now, clean, give it to you, job done. We could get it out tomorrow. That's how easy it is. Now, I'm not going to take away from the the relentlessness of the work that goes into it from producers, because there is a lot, because they're putting out a lot. So I appreciate that. But it's a very rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And that's why we're inundated with so much Punjabi music, not a lot of Bhangra music. Because to make Bhangra music, you've got to take time out, you've got to tune your instruments, you've got to get the right sound, the right technique, the right EQ. Does that work on there? Does that layer work on the, like, is the groove right? Does it fit right? Is the hi-hats in the right place? Is the kick, do we go for a straight kick or there's too much involved to make that. But this is the key thing. In our soul, it's Bhangra music. Our soul resonates. Because I think the water was 75% water. And if you've got, it's getting really stupidly deep now, but when something comes out of speakers, when it's sound coming out, it's sound waves, yeah? That sound wave goes into our body, we feel sound. Not just hear it, we feel it. And us brown people, I'll say, we resonate to, there, I'm doing this, you're nodding.
Yeah, I know.
You can't
nodding it.
Yeah?
It's in
you
there.
can't help it. That's us. Whereas, if you are Dave and Carol, your soul is resonating to. That's what you link to. You're into that. If you're, you know what I mean. If you're Barrington, yeah, you're you know what I mean? There's certain styles, certain flows, certain vibrations that come out of speakers that hit you. The reason why Bhangra music is still hanging on in there, the reason why my dad at 70 has still got gigs, is because they still produce the sound that people consciously or subconsciously end up dancing to. When a new Bhangra song comes out, it bangs, it hits different.
Yeah, I've been to the EP. That was a classic throwback as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, and with all due respect, there's better Pindajat, there's better Sukshindra Shinda. But because it's the now version of what they did, you're like, yes, Bhangra music, go. The amount of people go, bro, I'm loving that, man.
We're back.
Yeah,
we're back. We're back in business.
But we need more of that. Here's a clip for you. If there's a producer out there who makes consistent, good Bhangra music, yeah, they're the next big producer. But you've got to commit to doing it. You've got to commit to those tools and those tumbis and sarangis and not get swayed by the trend. Because just think of it in a Bruno Mars sense. Disco was big in the 70s, yeah? We had pop in the 80s, you had rap and R&B in the 90s, you had garage in the 2000s. Bruno Mars comes along, what is it? It's disco funk, isn't it? It's four decades later, how big is Bruno Mars? Like, that sound resonates now because it's fun, it's from a fun time. Someone just needs to commit. I want someone to commit. I want someone to come and bang out some Bhangra beats. I guarantee you it'll work. There's no, like, you don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to know that the Diljit's version of Attention is going to clear the dance floor, but the Nick Dillon remix is going to get them dancing. Going on, I love that album, Making Memories, one of the best albums, yeah, in a long, long time. But I, as a DJ, am playing the Punjabi remix of Jeene Lagda or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's always the Bhangra remix because they don't know it, but they're dancing to it. That's what they want. Otherwise, I'm just playing background music. So I think people just need to re-embrace Bhangra. Watch. You want to make money, you want streams, you want hits, make Bhangra music, trust me.
So,
and I'll back it up with one more thing. Last year, went to watch Diljit, yeah? Went to watch Karan first in September and paid for the ticket to watch him. Great concert, really enjoyed it. But every time he said, "Kedafe Bhangra paiye," that venue erupted. Every time a doll came out of those speakers, mans were dancing. 15,000 people, hands in the air. And I'm the worst person at a gig. I'm just standing there watching, going, these lot want Bhangra music, but they're not being given it. So 15,000 people respond to going on like Café Bhangra paiye, and there are 50,000 people going, yeah. Why more people making it? Went to see Diljit. What is Diljit? It's yeah, wicked. And the Tumbi comes in. You telling me they didn't enjoy it? They enjoyed it. The amount of money that was spent to be in that front row, we know how much it was. Yeah, they paid to see a Bhangra artist. So why aren't we making it? I don't get it. That's the bit I don't get.
But is there a lack of the younger generations in terms of becoming musicians? Because we've got, I say, it's not the healthiest production lines that we've got in terms of producers and singers and stuff like that. But musicians of the next generation are becoming, they're an endangered species.
Yes, but then if I'm being a selfish producer, you don't need the musicians.
The AI, and you could do.
If that's where we're going, right? Let's talk about. You just need a vision, and this is the other twisted thing about our industry and being a producer. A producer does not need to be a musician. A producer is someone who has a vision. That's like saying the producer or the director of a film has to be the actor. No. The actor can't produce, the producer can't act, but together they produce magic, they make magic. Bali Jagpal was the guy who told me when I was like 19 years old, Boxing Day, at Bagley's, you should be a producer. You can play keyboards, I can't play anything. And I got the biggest track of the year. I just saw it, I was like, okay, if you said it, I'll do it. He had visions. But he brought in Shinda to play Dole. He brought in X and Y and to make sure that vision came to life. So if you're a producer, you have no excuses. You can do it. You just need to have conviction that I'm going to make Bhangra music.
I've really, I've hardly looked at what I was going to say. I was like, I've moved it away, but it's like, it's really kind of refreshing in terms of having a conversation about, things that we're kind of passionate about, not necessarily always agree on some stuff and that, but still willing to change your mind and to understand different bits from there. I don't feel that's a generic. I think people are really entrenched in this bit, and I think that kind of hoarding behaviour really subjugates us, and it doesn't really help it out. Do you, I want you to kind of look at that vision in terms of what Bali said to you now, but kind of future gaze. Where do you see things going, especially in the next 5 to 10 years, personally for yourself?
Okay.
Because we kind of covered that in that first, but as kind of the scene as well, and then the platforms that we utilise in terms of for radio and things like this.
Let's work backwards. There's more platforms than Kuldeep Manik ever had. There's more platforms than the golden era of UK Bhangra ever had. Why aren't you using them? Use them. They're free. Facebook, Insta, TikTok. Free. Everyone's got a phone. You can make content. You can put content out. Recently, Jatty Cheat's been coming out, and I'm like, let's do some bits. He wants to do some Bollywood stuff, and I'm like, okay, let's build a Bollywood set for you from scratch. Okay, cool. So we're working on that, and then we'll do something. Was it a couple of weeks ago? I AI'd Alka Yagnik's vocal out of Dip Dip Barsa Pani, and he started singing to it. I was like, wait. Put my camera on. Hit recording, let's leave it. No, do it. Let's go. And genuinely, one take, let's see what happens. Content. You're putting stuff out there, there's no excuses. Do it. Where the scene's gonna be, it might sound like a cop-out answer, but the scene's gonna be where the scene's gonna be. We don't know.
Do you think we've seen the mainstream merge now, right?
Yeah.
We've seen some of the biggest labels being bought out, Warner, Universal. Yeah. Do you still see those artists at the top, or do you see a new up and comer coming in and taking them out?
Oh, there's always going to be someone new, man. There's always someone new. 10 years time, God knows, I think going to be the hottest thing, or AP Dillon, or you know what I mean? There's gonna be, or every generation has their guy. If our grandparents' generation was Kuldeep Manak, and our parents' generation was that golden era, our generation was, B21, Sanj, or whoever it is, and our kids' generation is now Diljit, their kids are going to have somebody else. That's cool.
Yeah, that's the evolution of that.
That's going to happen.
I'm just saying, the only reason why I was saying about that question is because now they've got the resources to keep them up there. Yep. Where I think previously artists never had the resources to keep them there.
So before, you had to be creative to maximize the resources available. Now you have the resources, but there's just that lack of creativity and conviction. I don't give a toss. I don't want to.
You can swear on it.
I know I can, but I want to save that for another time. I don't give a toss anymore. I really don't. I am going to record Jati Chidivs in the studio with me. I am going to record Jinder Jadivs in the studio with me. I will press play and record on a rehearsal because I don't care anymore. I'm going to put it out. Let's see what happens. When I'm at a funeral and someone say, "Oh yeah, do you know that gala you did with Jinder, that Nachna Piya?" Love it, man. I'm like, okay, cool. If that was me a year ago, I wouldn't have done anything like that. Because in my head, I probably would have been like everyone currently, which is, yeah, but how does it look? How does it sound? Is the angle right? Do we get it? Too much of that. This time I was like, I don't know what's happening to me in 2025. This beast has awoken, really has. I'm like, let's just do it. So since January, I've just been putting out content. So I think really having the confidence in your own ability and be creative and utilize the platforms ahead in front of you for free, go for it, do it. For me personally, I don't know, man.
The podcast at some stage.
I know, I know that I've got a lot of stories to tell, which I'm looking forward to doing. I want to document stories. I really want to do that. Because, again, when Jundu Litara passed away, I'm on my way to do my show. I'm on the phone, and it's Tadi did show on the phone. We're just chatting about Jundu as you do. And he said something to me which has been bugging me for 2 weeks now. And he goes, "The responsibilities are being handed down now, you know." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "The OGs who put everything into place, knowingly or unknowingly, who created everything, who have created all this, they're handing down the responsibilities. Who's picking up the ball? Who's taking it on? Who's preserving it? Who's building it? Who's archiving it? Who's maintaining it?" And that really hit home, because there's people like Mustan Hira, the Satis, Bachangi, the Musafirs, the first ever band in the UK, the Musafirs, which had Badi Segu's dad in it, Dalvinder Singh's dad in it. All these guys, nobody knows about unless you were there at that time. That's wrong. And I feel if I had another 5 of me, we could build an archive somewhere where my kids, your kids could go and learn about that person. But I need a team to do it. And I need like-minded individuals who are willing to put the work in, where you could type in Mustan Hira, boom, everything's there. This is that, boom, all the stories, everything's there. Because that's what I think we are missing as an industry. So when Tadi says the responsibilities are being handed down, there's only so much I can do. And I want to do as much as I can. And if there's people around me willing to want to jump on it and do it in the right way, not for their own but I ain't got time for that, because that archive isn't my archive, it's the archive. And people contributing to it, I'd love to do that. But in the short term, I want to elevate live music. I want to do things different, because as much as I love my brothers who are all in live bands, the reason why there aren't any live acts now and people aren't booking bands as they used to is because the bands still have the 1994 philosophy on how bands should be. Whereas 15,000 people went to see Diljit Dosanjh, 55,000 people went to see him over there with a live band. So you can't tell me live music's dead. It ain't dead. Diljit has proven that, Karan's proven that. But what they do different to what we do here in the UK is they have adapted their live sound to the ears that the people, to the sound that the people hear on a regular basis. So yeah, if you're hearing a processed, mastered sound from a DJ, that's what you're used to. So when a live band comes in, the level's gonna drop. But if you enhance that with backing tracks, samples, this kind of thing, like the mainstream acts do, like now Diljit and Karan and all these guys do, like them Bollywood bands do, if they are doing it, we aren't, we can't complain that we got no gigs. So I am actively now making live sets for artists. Go out and perform it like this, go out and perform it like that. What do you need? Let's build some. I had Lions of Punjab, built a live set for them. Like Uplands and have got their own live set, bespoke live set, and then you can go out and deliver it as a live band or press play and go, because I need you to go out there and entertain so you get more gigs, make more memories. Let's do it. So there's a lot still to do. However, if it all ends tomorrow, I'm content.
Last question.
Yeah.
It is a Bhandwagon podcast.
Yeah.
I give a space to the guest. Is there any bandwagon they want to jump on or off, or anything they want to get off their chest? This is a space to do so.
Didn't I get it off my chest right at the beginning?
As I was saying it, I was like, bloody hell! I hope there's nothing too killer coming through.
What else is left? What else is left? Do you know what? The only thing I'd really want to say is social media isn't real life. We're all on it, whether we wake up in the morning in our bed, whether we're going through, we're on it constantly. We're always looking to see what people are doing. Fine, that's now part of life. Can't complain. But not everything is as it seems. Take Sunanda Sharma, for example. Don't know the ins and outs, but you look at her and her life on social media to actually what was happening last week, there's a massive disconnect. So everything she was portraying wasn't actually how she was feeling or made to feel or whatever it is. And it just blew everyone's mind. And for me, I'm just like, great, utilize social media, but don't rely on it. Be yourself, enjoy time. Like, I'm killing myself this week to make sure I get everything done on Thursday, because Friday's my anniversary. I'm taking the day off with my missus. I don't want to deal with anything. I've had to learn to do things like that as well. Enjoy real people, real lives, real stories. Trust me, by listening to them, you learn more. It's not all about put it up on social media. Yeah, you got to do it. I understand that. I do it as well. But it's not the be all and end all. So yeah, my only salah would be, speak to real people. We'll progress a lot more. You'll learn a lot more. You'll actually achieve a lot more.
Guys, make sure you get the Beat Bank. Keep a lookout. Put your notifications on the social media to look at the next sort of batches that are going to come out. Should be one a month now. I'm going to put his frequency up. So maybe 2 a month now, or wherever.
No, let's go on.
Yeah, let's go for one. But I just want to say a big thank you, Dips. I know I always look forward to when we have a conversation. It's not as frequent as we should have it, and I'm already thinking when you're coming back next to to.
I did say to you last time. You said to me, when you're coming back, I'll go when I got something to do.
Yeah, it's
something
true.
To say.
It's true.
If I've got nothing to talk about, or there's no point. That space shouldn't be taken up by me. That space should be for someone else who's actually doing something, who needs that time. So yeah, if anything comes up, I'll let you know. But if you just want all day rant,
I think it's good for from an education point to work things out. Have detailed conversations and do it, because you're right to a point. One of the reasons why I was doing this podcast was because there was always questions I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
And you do sometimes get a message out of the blue saying, "Oh, I learned this and that." And when you hear the words "I learned," it's like it reassures you, like at least someone's got something out of it, rather than focusing. I had someone said, "Oh, why is your podcast called Bhandwagon? The word the bond is somewhere else and all this, and I was like, it's a fucking play on my surname. Like, you know, the people just you go. What about the whole of the hour before that was in there, and you just picked that up?
Yeah.
So I think there is a big need for the service, and you know, a big thank you. And I've always had those positive stuff from you as well.
Well, listen, I will end it on a positive. Well done on everything you're doing. I know how hard it is to do this. It's not easy. You could have given up 2 years ago. Yeah, you would have seen numbers and you're just like, is that it? Should I allow it? You didn't. That's big up to you. And again, you need another 5 of you because the more stories we hear, the more perspectives we have, the more we're going to grow. If you're leading the charge here, go for it. And if you're not monetized this time next year, we've got a problem, man. This show should have been sponsored by Falana, and this episode and this section should have been flown.
I've got two main ones, right? I've got Mahirs who kindly provided this place, and I've got, you know, Seva Jagpal, Jazz, who's always with me, you know, doing everything. So those are my calls. I look after them.
Lovely card, but we need this.
You know, Jazz, as soon as I do, it's gonna have to go straight to Jazz anyway.
That's fine. That's fine. He deserves it. He deserves it. But again, that money helps you build, helps you grow. Bigger atmosphere, bigger aura, more people eyes. It's just it all works in tandem. So keep going, man. I'll always watch you from afar and support you.
Respect.
Take care.
Catch up with you.
Take care, man.
See you next time. Well, how was that?
Yeah.